Joining us now from Washington, an attorney for nonprofits, David Tafuri. So full disclosure, I have a foundation, a charitable foundation. I don't have any employees other than Swifty, my accountant, to make sure that I do everything, you know, and I'm actually getting free advice from you tonight. But I don't take any salary, I don't take any expenses. It's just all the money that goes into the foundation goes to charity. So if they're going to put me in jail, I mean, I don't have anything there. But I want everybody to know that I have a charitable foundation. Now, the Clinton Foundation, we're talking huge money. And I want to know what the people who work for the Clinton administration, for the Clinton Foundation, are entitled to. Let's start with Bill Clinton, all right? He's the big boy. He's in charge. Now, his travel is paid for by the foundation if he's going on a charitable exploration, right?
That's correct. So Bill is on the board of directors. He's also a founder. He's not an officer. The board of directors of this foundation has chosen not to compensate the board members. So none of the board members, not Bill, not Chelsea, who's also on the board, get compensated. When Hillary was on the board, she didn't get compensated either. However, they are entitled to have their travel, reasonable travel expenses, reimbursed.
Okay, now reasonable is not a private jet, right?
Well, in most cases, and for most organizations, a private jet would not be reasonable. However, in the case of Bill Clinton, a former president who travels with Secret Service, the case of Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State, they do have some extra security concerns. If you look at the IRS Form 990 that the foundation filed, they note this. They say former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton have special security concerns and reserve the right to travel by charter or by first class.
So they're probably picking up some private jet stuff. Now, a lot of the people, not a lot, some of the people who donate to the Clinton Foundation provide free private jet transportation for the Clintons. Is that okay?
It appears that that happened and has happened in the past. That is okay, yes. That's a person, a private person, doing something to help the charity. And as long as the purpose of the trip is to advance the goals of the charity, that's appropriate.
Okay, so we got a lot of that. Now, how about all meals, right? How about rent? How about, you know, living expenses? Al Sharpton has a foundation, National Action Network. I understand he lives in a facility owned by that network. I could be wrong about that. That's just floating around. But is that legal?
Well, you should only have expenses, again, that are required as part of your duties for the organization. So
well, what if you're doing work and you need an office? You can have an office, right?
Of course.
And what if that office
contains
sleeping quarters?
Well, I mean, it's a little odd to sleep in your office.
No, it's not.
It's not something
you could have an office. I mean, nobody's going to check and see what you got in there.
Look, if there's some reason why the person has to be away from their primary home and needs to sleep at the office, then I suppose that would be appropriate. But you'd have to be able to justify it as part of advancing the goals of the organization.
What about buying meals for people who are potential donors?
Well, buying meals on a trip where the purpose is to advance the goals of the organization, that's appropriate. Buying meals for people who are donors, incidental to meetings and discussions to fundraise, that would also be appropriate.
Okay.
But the expenses have to be reasonable, not luxurious meals.
But what you're telling me is that under the banner of expenses, you can live.
Well, again, it's not living well. You can work well and engage in activities surrounding your work and have those activities reimbursed if it's part of your work trip. But if you went on a trip and spent half the time doing stuff for the organization and half the time playing golf, you should reimburse the organization or not seek reimbursement.
But what if out on the golf course?
Leisure activities.
What if out on the golf course you're explaining the Haitian policy to the guys and force them?
Well, we get into a gray area there.
Of course,
if the primary person, if the primary purpose of playing golf was to talk to a donor or talk to someone that was advancing the goals, then that might be okay.